What's up? We are back here for another episode of the Red Glare podcast. I'm your host, Alec Miller. Catch me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. Catch me there talking all things sports, trash talking Billy Joe Saunders this past weekend during the Canelo fight, and all that good stuff. And I'm joined, as always, representing the H, what we really started this podcast for, my man Paul. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? Yeah, man. I decided to take it back to the roots. Houston strong, baby. Super excited. The Rockets have achieved their ultimate goal of the season, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. But you can catch me on the gram, man, as always, at PL Trinidad, chopping it up, making some beats, talking sports, living life, man. So let's go ahead and get into this.
Absolutely. We'll start off with what we kind of started this podcast for, the Rockets. The Rockets have now basically solidified that we have the best chance to win the number one pick.
Yes.
Always good to hear when you're as bad as we are this year. When you know that you could possibly get a once-in-a-lifetime, a once-in-a-generational player like Cade Cunningham, it always makes the losing season just a little bit better.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I would have never guessed we would be in this spot, right? Like a year ago, I could have never guessed. But this is like a sweet little reward. I think if the Rockets can get Cade, it kind of eases everything we lost with Harden. I know a lot of people are not too happy about that trade. Not really thrilled to see us get back, Kelly Olynyk and a couple picks. But I could say this, man, if we get Cade, it'll all be worth it in my eyes. And hey, man, Olynyk will be a nice starting player next year if we do get Cade. You're looking at a better lineup. You're looking at Christian Wood, Cade Cunningham, Porter Jr. Olynyk probably is in that mix. And then you also still got young guys like Tate coming off the bench. You got Kenyon Martin Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes the future a lot more exciting when you have like a cornerstone piece like that.
Absolutely. Cade going with Christian Wood, KPJ looking like he's finally starting to put it together on the court. Not getting it. I mean, obviously he's still going to strip clubs, but I mean, we dealt with that here with James Harden for how many years? He was always going to strip clubs, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, the most we got to worry about, is COVID protocols, but even then, I think those are starting to, go down a little bit more as the virus has started to kind of get under control a little more. We've already, if you look at it, we've had a big UFC event, no big outbreaks happening there. Yeah. We just had the Canelo fight over in Arlington, Texas. Haven't heard anything about any outbreaks there. So, I mean, it seems good. I know this isn't a wrestling podcast, but AEW, the other wrestling promotion that is kind of big, run by Tony Khan, son of Jacksonville Jaguars owner. They are going to start touring in July, I believe. So starting to go back to weekly tours, which is a huge step towards normalcy. COVID protocols maybe starting to die down a little bit. I could see maybe by next year the COVID protocols possibly being a lot less strict than they were this past year. So maybe KPJ won't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, maybe, man. Whether you think COVID is serious or not, or whatever group you fall in, like, it's definitely exciting to see sports just back in general. I love seeing the NFL draft. I was at an outdoor venue, but it was still pretty motivating. Yeah, man. Like, I can't wait till we can start going to Rockets and Astros games and Texans games and just having that weight lifted and, being able to sit next to other Houstonians and just enjoy the game and cheer. I don't think they're in as far as the MLB or the NBA, obviously not the NFL as well. We haven't had that like full stadium back, but a lot of players have been saying like they could feel the energy of the fans that are there. Just have a little bit, like they say, like it's sounding loud and things like that. And I mean, we even heard that on the bat end with the Astros and Yankees game where all those fans are booing the shit out the Astros.
Yeah.
So I think by the time like fans really get in it, man, dude, there's going to be so much energy. There's really going to be home court advantages throughout. So I'm rooting for that, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to take the fam to a game soon.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, and we're going to get the first really big full arena thing this weekend with the UFC fights. That is a completely sold out Toyota Center. It's going to be happening, big championship fight. So very interested to see how that plays. I know that when I saw the most recent one that was in Jacksonville, man, like the minute, like first of all, everyone was there. Everyone was in their seats from the first fight to the very last fight. And I know that before COVID hit and before the quarantine happened, that wasn't the case. People were showing up at the main card or right before the main card started, and now people
taking it for granted, right?
Yeah, now all of a sudden people aren't taking it for granted. They're showing up. They're going. They were there. It was a packed house from the first fight all the way to the end of the fight. And if you haven't seen that card, it is now free on ESPN Plus. So go watch that fight card because holy crap, Usman Masvidal. Wow, I'm telling you, from top to bottom, you're going to be excited, and I think that's because you felt the feel of the fans. Like the impact of the fans is real, and each one of those fighters came out guns blazing, putting on a hell of a show. Whether they got knocked out or they lost or whatever, they went there to put on a hell of a show. And I think when that happens for football, for baseball, and for basketball, I'm talking about full crowds. You're gonna feel it. The athletes are gonna feel it, and it's gonna be pushed to a whole new. The competition will be pushed to a whole new level.
Yeah, man, that was well said. I saw that a little bit in the Canelo fight too. Like,
yes,
right before it's finished, he was like amping up the crowd, and I was like, man, like I didn't realize the significance of that at first, but then after watching it a couple of times on the replay, I was like, oh shit, dude, like he was in the zone, man. Those people were helping him,
Absolutely, and for those who don't know, Canelo got a big win. I don't know who was really doubting it, but I will say, I had it judged in those rounds. My fight card said Saunders was winning by 1 round. So if you haven't seen, go back and watch the fight if you can. It's on DAZN, or you can find it somewhere else. You probably find the finish on YouTube. But to find out that Billy Joe Saunders was not willing to get up off of his stool right before I think it was the 9th round, was crazy. And then when you see the punch, you go back and look at the punch that landed. It was clean on the cheek, broke his orbital bone. So there is a possibility that his fight career could be over. That orbital bone break is no joke when it comes to fighting, because especially in boxing, because that's where most of the punches are going. Most punches are going to your face. It's not like with the UFC where you can kick some legs, you can grapple and stuff. But no, it's serious injury. So. All the best to Billy Joe Saunders, but I mean Canelo showing why he's the best in the world at the moment. It was a great fight to watch.
Yeah, man. There's on the subject of Canelo, because I wasn't always the biggest Canelo fan, but he's definitely like made me one, and at least a believer, dude. There's a great interview on YouTube, Canelo with Graham Bensinger. And he's just kind of showing him around like his ranch and, with his horses and things like that. So if you ain't a Canelo fan, I would highly recommend you watch it, kind of learn more about this guy, because he's the truth, man. It's worth checking out.
Absolutely. Another fight news, we are getting Floyd versus Logan Paul happening soon. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah. The Paul brothers kind of taking the fight game by storm, whether you like it or not. It's very interesting to watch. Jake Paul is probably the biggest troll, and really kind of making things worse for Logan. I think they've even posted videos of like Logan being like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, why are you doing this? Because now Jake Paul is actually banned from the Floyd Logan fight. He is not allowed in the arena,
really, because
of the gotcha hat thing that he did. So it's the Paul brothers quickly taking over kind of the fight game. And I agree with Mike Tyson when he told Logan, he's like, he's gonna knock you out. Like he's gonna whoop your ass. And Logan didn't believe it, but I agree with him. I think Floyd showed with a better fighter than Logan Paul what he can do with Conor McGregor. So Floyd knows that he can probably take him out fast.
Yeah. It's one of these things, like when it came out, I text my brothers like, are we really going to pay for this? And we're like, yeah, we have to. So
it's crazy.
It's super entertaining. I mean, there's no way you could pick against Floyd. I think this might only be entertaining until as long as Paul keeps winning, you know. And then once he loses or get knocked out, it'll be a meme. But yeah, he can come back, and either one of them can come back, and it's pretty crazy to think these internet stars have made a boxing career and just like amplified their wealth and popularity. So this is what we're living in now. It's 2021, and this is just what life is.
Yeah, they're making bank too. I will say that they're making crazy bank. They might be geniuses, but we'll get to that. I mean, we'll talk about that probably the weekend after it happens, because that'll be news. But let's go ahead and get into one more thing before we jump into the playoffs, the NBA playoffs. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think we kind of touched on it. I don't think we completely talked about it. And more news has kind of come out lately of him basically saying, "I'm done with Green Bay. Don't want to be here anymore. Y'all basically got me nothing." Literally in the first round, they drafted him Eric Stokes. And I think we talked about that. They didn't draft him a receiver to the third round. So now he's basically saying, "I want out." He's named. I know he named Denver. I believe he named. I can't remember the other places he named. He named 2 other spots. He might have said San Diego. I'm going to see Aaron Rodgers landing spots. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. He's not coming to the Texans, in case any of you are wondering watching.
No, he's not. No, unfortunately. I would say, man, straight up, let's just do Deshaun for Aaron. Why not?
Yeah, I'll throw in a couple extra things too to get Aaron.
Yeah, for sure. I think he said Carolina was 1, 2. Oh, and the Saints. That's right. The Saints.
Saints, right.
To go to New Orleans. But to me, the best landing spot for him would probably be Denver.
Yeah.
I think Denver has one. They have a top 5 defense. They had top 5 defense in the league. They have really decent weapons. They have Cortland Sutton. They have Cortland Sutton. They have Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, looking to improve off of his kind of disappointing rookie season. So he's got a lot to prove. They got Noah Fant, the tight end from I forgot where he's from, but that's the tight end. He's his 3rd year. This will be his 3rd year in the league. So a lot of nice little weapons, and then they drafted a running back in I think the 2nd or the 3rd round. So that'd be a really interesting destination for him to go to. And it wouldn't be the first time that Denver's done it before, where they take a legendary quarterback that's not really on the back end, but just kind of been left to the wayside by their original team. Right. John Elway, Peyton Manning. People forget John Elway was not a Denver Bronco before, was not drafted by the Broncos. He was traded for. And so, they had that legacy. You got the Peyton Manning legacy. Aaron Rodgers possibly could be one too. Carolina would not be as interesting, but they would be a little bit more interesting. They could be interesting. And there was word that Carolina could be still in the running for Deshaun. There's that word. With Denver, that's kind of I guess Denver's really going to try and make a run at Aaron Rodgers. That's why they didn't draft a quarterback in the first round this year, even though they also did trade for Teddy Bridgewater. So, that could still be a choice. And obviously the New Orleans Saints would be extremely interesting because one of the biggest things about Aaron Rodgers is he's never really had an elite coach. Right. What could he do with a guy like Sean Payton and Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, and they have a decent defense too. So that'd be really I could see him going to New Orleans and having some success.
Yeah. I definitely like the Denver and New Orleans landing spots more than the Carolina. Carolina's coach Matt Rule, this is barely his 2nd year, and he's coming from Baylor, excuse me. And there's a lot of good things about him, but when you're looking at Denver, you're looking at a proven franchise, and the same with the Saints as well, and with a like you said, Hall of Fame coach. So you can also look at Tom Brady when he went to the Bucs. Bruce Arians was a really good coach for the Cardinals. Like he took them to the Super Bowl that one year, but like he was just never able to get off the hump, over the hump. Kind of same thing with Andy Reid in Kansas City. Like not until he got that elite quarterback in Pat Mahomes, he was able to like reach that Super Bowl success. So yeah, I think like for me, it would be cool to see him with Sean Payton. I think that would give him a great chance, but I think him winning in Denver would kind of be more impactful. It would definitely be like cement him as one of the best quarterbacks of all time, if you don't consider him that already. All I know is like I hope he does get moved. Like the last thing I want to see is demotivated Aaron Rodgers not wanting to play, or if he has to play, just kind of bullshitting his way through it, getting to the playoffs and getting knocked out. I mean, that would just be disappointing to see a year go by with him not like getting a championship run. So if Denver really wants him, I hope they go for it, man, because that would put them. We've seen the Saints in the playoffs the last couple of years, but Denver we haven't. It will put them right back in there. I mean, the best teams in the AFC have kind of been like, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, kind of new. And if Aaron Rodgers is on the Broncos, I mean, it makes me think they're probably the second best team, second or third best team immediately. So that's kind of what I'm rooting for. Like it's the one with the most rumors, but sometimes those are the most fun stories. So I hope that's where he ends up.
Yeah, man. Personally, me too. I want to see the Denver happen because all of a sudden you go from, you kind of go from the Kansas City Chiefs being basically the favorite every year. Yeah. All of a sudden you put Aaron Rodgers there, and that's not the case. Not even to win their division. You might see Kansas City as a wild card team, which would be insane, So yeah, definitely to me would be the more interesting choice because now then you'll have Aaron Rodgers versus the man who was compared to him in the draft. Everyone compared Patrick Mahomes, who said he has Aaron Rodgers' talent and could possibly even, in my opinion, could possibly pass up and eclipse Aaron Rodgers' career. He's already been to one more Super Bowl than Aaron Rodgers has been. So, it would be an interesting thing, to see that. Also, because I think the NFC is starting to become the teams with the veteran quarterbacks. Like the AFC is so much younger than the NFC. Really, I think the oldest quarterback in the AFC was Ben Roethlisberger this past year. Everybody else, we had.
I guess if you count Phillip Rivers, but you know how that ended.
Phillip Rivers now, but look at it now. Like Carson Wentz is the guy now. So look at the guys. You had Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, all those guys. All of us, and on the NFC, it was basically veterans. It was Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and who else? Russell Wilson. Who we might see him as he is a veteran now. He's on that tail on the backside of his career. So it would definitely shake things up in the AFC and the NFC because now the NFC North would be completely for the taking. Who would take the step forward? Would Jared Goff take the step forward? Would Kirk Cousins possibly take the step forward, or Justin Fields leaving it open, wide open for him? Very interesting. The NFL season could definitely get shaken up if Aaron Rodgers is traded before the season starts. I think if it doesn't happen before the season starts, it probably won't happen until later. So it would have to happen before the season, but there is a lot of off season left. We do have the schedule release coming out on Wednesday, so that could be also make the NFL season even more anticipated.
Yeah, man. What any thoughts on the schedule release? Like any matchups you would like to see for the Texans? Just real quick.
All right, so I know we have. I don't even know. So I'm gonna look up real quick because I know I don't know. Do you know how the NFL scheduling works? Like how they figure it out?
I know I know how it's set to play other divisions, but I don't know how it's calculated.
Okay, so the Texans. So we have the Texans. Last year we played. Hold on. opponents for 2020. All right, so last year we played the AFC North, and we played the NFC South. Because we played the Falcon. I believe we played the Falcon. No, sorry, we played the NFC North. So we played both AFC North and NFC North. So the way the scheduling works is you have 6 games, obviously, or to your divisional opponents.
Division.
Then you play one division from the AFC, one division from the NFC, and then you play whatever for the remaining divisions in your conference. You play the team that was in your seeding. So we were number 1 in our. We were number 1. We won the division the year before, so we had to also play Kansas City, and we had to play Buffalo last year. So this year now we were obviously not last. We were 3rd in the division.
3rd.
So we're playing Houston Texans 2021 home. I don't want the home opponents. I just need the opponents. So the home opponents that we're going to for sure play, because I know they already make the who you're playing at home, who you're playing on the road. For our home, it looks like we're playing the NFC West and the AFC East. So those will be and for the home opponents, we're playing obviously the division. Then we're also playing the New England Patriots at home, the New York Jets at home, the LA Rams, and the Seattle Seahawks, and the Chargers. So the Chargers, because they finished 3rd in their division, we play the Chargers, obviously. And on the other, for our road opponents, same thing, Colts, Titans, Jags. We have the Cardinals, the Bills, the Browns, the Dolphins, and the 49ers. And because the Dolphins finished 3rd in their division.
That's a brutal road schedule for sure.
And then because of the 17-game season now, throw in Carolina. We have Carolina also for our 17th opponent. Not sure where these are land. I will say, it's hard to not circle the Arizona Cardinals game.
For sure.
That has to be circled. It would be amazing for it to be here in Houston, because I would kind of want to see J.J. Watt get a sack in an Arizona Cardinals uniform in Houston. It'd be funny. Because honestly, let's be honest, we're not expecting much. Like, I'm not expecting to win.
If you do expect much, let it in right here while you're watching the show.
You're delusional. And we're gonna bring you back down to earth.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 4-win season, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe we'll get the number 1 pick. Who knows?
If Rockets and Texans got the number 1 pick, I'd be happy.
It'd be nice, right? It'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I had that one. Just in terms of people that I would like to see play here at home, the Chargers would probably be my one that I would like to see if I could go to it, because I want to see Justin Herbert play. Especially if I could go to the game, get tickets for it. There's usually a game around my birthday, and I try to go to a game around whatever games, like the weekend of my birthday or the weekend before my birthday. I try to go to that game. So it's nice having your birthday in football season.
Oh yeah.
But
hell yeah.
So I mean, either way, I'll probably go to it. It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing I'm doing with my son. I'm gonna take him to a baseball game every year on his birthday, no matter what game it is. Whatever game is on his birthday is what game we're gonna go to. So whatever game is on my birthday weekend, I want to go to. But I could see probably. I think the Arizona Cardinals game could be a primetime game. The game against the Cardinals could possibly be a primetime game. The Dolphins would be.
I was going to say that Browns game sounds pretty good.
That would be pretty cool to see primetime. Thursday night game is probably going to be like our game against the Jaguars or something. Which means Trevor Lawrence, he'll be on a primetime game. But I mean, you got to take into account the different players that are going to be, the new stars of the league. And in my opinion, it's hard not to give Jacksonville at least 2 primetime games besides the Thursday night game, because I believe every team will play a Thursday night game. That's a guarantee. But I can see a Sunday night NBC game and a Monday Night Football game for Trevor Lawrence, just because of the fact that he's Trevor Lawrence. So,
Look,
I mean, if we can get one of those, that'd be nice.
I'll go as far as Jacksonville will get a third one just because of Tim Tebow.
Oh, okay. Especially if he starts like balling, if he starts like catching like crazy amount of touchdowns from.
Yeah.
Let's see another one. So Trevor Lawrence probably is one. If depending on if Trey Lance starts to play, the 49ers could possibly be a primetime game. But yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting much from the schedule release. To me, it's nice to see where we get primetime games, but when you suck the way we suck, it's not really as important because we're probably going to get one Thursday night game or we're guaranteed one Thursday night game. But this year we had the game against the Lions on Thanksgiving, so it was a little bit more sweeter. And I believe we got the win. So there's that. But
maybe that Cardinals game, like we could get tossed in the prime time just because of the storyline.
Mm-hmm. Nuke coming back to Houston is it's his first time back in Houston, so that's probably where I'm looking at. But to me, the scheduling isn't as important as the opponents. Like I'm more interested whenever we find out who the opponents that we're playing is.
Right.
But that's what it is. But we'll see. We'll be talking about that next week, the scheduling and look at the different Monday Night Football games and stuff. So that'll be interesting. But let's go ahead and talk NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs right around the corner, probably the most exciting time of the NBA season. Would you agree?
Absolutely, man. I mean, I know a lot of people who don't even watch the NBA season, but watch all of the playoffs. And the NBA playoffs is freaking unique, man. Like they play so many games, probably the most games out of any sport. And man, like everyone's a battle. Like the NBA is so talented today that like even your 8 seeds can really put up a couple games against the 1 seeds too. So yeah, man, let's get into it, dude. It's the best time of the year in the NBA.
Pull up the NBA playoff bracket. So we
got about 4 games left, I think, most teams.
Yeah. It's really getting there, man. Like it's kind of sneaking. It kind of snuck up on me. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like it felt like 20 games, and now it's like 4 all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like, oh damn, like we're literally right here, and it's amazing because, as you said, every game, every NBA playoffs is exciting because of the fact that anything can happen, especially with the new play-in format. It's definitely going to be interesting for sure. So let's go ahead and I'm trying to pull up a nice little bracket. Do you remember where you got yours last time?
I think it was NBA.com.
All right, let me see.
Yeah.
NBA.com, NBA.
Yeah, some things to note. Both LeBron and James Harden are coming back from injuries. I think you could kind of tell some of these teams are just timing these guys' returns purposely.
Okay, so I have it right here. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen so whoever's watching and you can actually see it too, so you can take a nice little screen. All right, playing picture.
Yeah, last week we got the Clippers winning it all, and I just want to emphasize, like I think, and I'm speaking for myself, maybe for Alec. A lot of that was based on the matchups and where they were seated. So today, we could be discussing a different outcome.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it kind of does look similar, except for one kind of giant and glaring difference, and that's the fact that the Lakers are in the play-in.
Yeah, man. I hope they stay there. Warriors Lakers playing. I mean, that's as good of a play-in you could ever ask for.
Absolutely, man. Like, I mean, think about it. We were gonna get LeBron versus Curry again in the playoffs. We haven't had that since LeBron was on the Cavs in the finals years ago. It was Kevin Durant's second NBA championship. The year before they lost to the Raptors. So it's been a while since we've seen Steph and LeBron in the finals. So we'll look at that game first because the winner of that automatically goes to the 7th seed, and the loser has to play the winner of the 9th and the 10th seed. So you have the Lakers Warriors. I mean, as much as we would like to say, the Warriors would stand a chance, and Curry would definitely give them a chance. Would at least keep them in the game.
Yeah.
But they have nobody to deal with Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis these past couple of games has been absolutely balling out of his mind. So I mean, I'm gonna give it to the Lakers, put them at the 7th seed, which puts them in a matchup against the Suns in the first round.
Yeah, I got no objections there. LeBron coming back. I mean, but he's got about 4 games left. By the 5th game, he'll be kind of into his swing of things. And like you said, AD's already on fire. I can't see losing that.
And the thing about these play-in games too is they're similar to the to like football. They're one game and you're into your seed. So and the loser of the 7th, 8th seed gets a chance. They're kind of like a double elimination thing. So with the 9th and the 10th seed, you have the Grizzlies and the Spurs. And this one I might be going with my heart because I shouldn't bet against Pop. At least against like a team that's of similar talent. But I really want to see Ja Morant get the W.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick the Grizzlies, man. I want to say the Grizzlies over Spurs. Barely, probably in a very hotly contested battle. But I'm going to go Grizzlies.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that. Like, I think experience will play a big part, but not in the way that is cliche and Popovich. I think Ja Morant losing in the same situation last year is going to help him. And I think he'll be able to at least win a game. But I got Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors beating them?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still gonna say the Grizzlies, man. I think Grizzlies with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. I like that. I like their core in Memphis, and they play hard. The Memphis Grizzlies have always kind of been known to play physical basketball. I'm thinking back to like the Tony Allen days of
Zach Randolph.
So they play physical basketball. And I've always said, and a lot of people have always said, how do you throw Steph Curry off of his rhythm? You put him on the ground. You put him on his butt. Put your hands on him, put a body on him, and let him know you're going to be there all night. I know that's what the Rockets did to him whenever we went 7 games with them that one year. So in the conference finals. So I think you got to let him know I'm gonna be doing this to you all night. And I think that Ja and the rest of the Grizzlies can do that. So I'm gonna say the Grizzlies get that 8th seed.
I like it, man. I saw an interview of Vernon Maxwell, and he talked about guarding Jordan. And he said, he's like, the thing about guys like Jordan is like, you can't put a hand in their face and do the same shit. He's like, you got to try some unorthodox shit. He said,
yeah, so man.
He said he would go to the game and tell Jordan, you want to fight? Let's just fucking
You got
fight
to,
right
man. You got to get in their heads, man. Like, that's what you got to do. And that's what I loved about Vernon Maxwell is he knew that in order to play against a guy like MJ, you had to be a psycho. You had to be a straight up, like, I'm gonna kill you tonight.
Yeah.
Type stuff. So I love it, man. I love Vernon Maxwell. And I mean, I'm not comparing Steph Curry to MJ or Ja Morant to Vernon Maxwell, but it shows that. I mean, probably nobody really gave. There were a bunch of people that gave MJ problems at points, but I think Vernon probably has like a special. He probably lives rent free in MJ's head sometimes. Like, you gotta think, every now and then MJ wakes up from like in a hot sweat.
I think MJ's like, man, I'm glad I didn't have to play that guy for 7 games. I didn't.
Exactly, man, exactly. And I still hold out that if MJ was there for the '93 championship, Rockets still would have won. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like, I could give you the argument. Maybe we only win 1, but we still would win 1, in my opinion. So
I think we win that one that he was legit gone. I think,
Yeah.
I even looked up numbers. I'm pretty sure I looked up numbers at some point because once I me and my dad were like talking. We're eating crawfish, got drunk. And he's a huge MJ stan. Like, he's an MJ stan. His first tattoo was the Jumpman and all this shit. And I told him, I was like, I don't know what we were talking about, but I mentioned, like, man, it doesn't matter if MJ was there. Rockets still would have won the championship. and he like went crazy. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me? And I even like looked up on my phone and like looked up the stats of MJ versus Hakeem, and they were horrible. Like MJ never had a great game against the Dream. So I mean, and you know, NBA analysts don't give Dream enough. Whenever I hear all these top 10 players of all time, I never hear Dream on there, and it drives me crazy.
The players give him props. The players give him respect. It's always the analysts who don't know much that leave him out. But you're right, bro. I mean, you know, whatever year you want to argue, I mean, Rockets had it going on, man. Like we had the defense, we had that early perimeter game before threes were a thing. You know, and you had Dream in the middle. Yeah, bro, who's gonna stop Dream? Pimpin'? Come on, dude. No one's gonna stop Dream.
It was gonna be ridiculous. But anyways, we digress.
Let's stay focused.
So you would say Warriors in that 8th seed, and I would say Grizzlies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to keep going Western Conference, or you want to go ahead and go Eastern? And just go like round, like their round, like go round by round, basically.
Yeah, let's go round by round. Let's mix it up.
So let's make it over here to the Eastern Conference side. The 7th, 8th seed would be Celtics versus Hornets. And we have to talk about the fact that Jaylen Brown is now going to be out for the rest of the season. Yeah. Definitely hurts the Celtics. If I'm the Wizards, Pacers, or Hornets, I'm licking my chops. I am ready to pounce and win as many games as I possibly can, because I can expect possibly if as you said, each team has 4 games, I'm expecting the Celtics to maybe drop at least 1 or 2. And I believe these I'm gonna look up the games behind to make sure that it's closer than I'm thinking. But how do you not try to at least get the Celtics down and keep winning? And if anyone can do it, I think it's the Hornets.
Yeah, man. You know, last week I was like, there's no way the Hornets will beat the Celtics. And it's funny, like, how a week changes things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Hornets in this matchup, man. Like, Hornets just have such great energy about them. Like, LaMelo Ball is balling, like, stress-free. He's come back from his injury. He's already faced his adversity, and he just wants to go in the playoffs and have fun, man. And not to mention, dude, like, Hornets have nice pieces, bro. Like, Terry Rozier, a lot of people shitted on that signing. He has playoff experience. Like, he's been there before, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to mention you got, like, guys like Gordon Hayward whispering to these young guys as well. So those are both former Celtics. They know how to play this team. So I'm leaning Hornets in the first one, man. The 7-8 matchup, I'm leaning Hornets.
Same here. So the Hornets are 2 games behind the Celtics. The Pacers are 3 games, and the Wizards are 3.5. So I think the Wizards are automatically they're not going to be able to catch the Celtics. But the Hornets, if they can keep winning, they have a very big possibility of being able to at least tie for that seed and possibly make it so it'll be a home game, because they can't catch the Heat. The Heat are the Hornets are like 4 games behind the Heat, so they're not going to be able to catch that 6th seed. So they can at least make it so that first play-in game could be a home game for them, so they can at least have 1 home game for themselves.
Okay. Yeah, man. I think, you know, the only way I would see the Celtics really turning this thing around is if, like, Jason Tatum just finally becomes the man and, you know, just starts balling out. But I'm not going to put stock in that, and that's why I'm going to stick with the Hornets.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Hornets too. LaMelo Ball, I mean, it's hard to bet against him. Jason Tatum, man, he's on and he's off.
Man, I know.
As someone who had him on his draft in his fantasy team, I know all too well the woes that Jason Tatum can get into. He can get very cold, but he can also get very hot. So it really depends. In a 1-game kind of setting, you could catch him on a bad game, but you could also catch him on a good game, man. So it really does depend on Jason Tatum. Whereas
Brad Stevens, man, got to get that shit together, man.
He's got to figure out what in the world is plaguing Jason Tatum on those cold streaks when he gets on them.
Yeah.
So we both go Hornets, which means that the Celtics will play the winner of the Wizards and the Pacers. Which, by the way, congratulations, Russell Westbrook, breaking Oscar Robinson's triple-double record, a record that a lot of people thought would be unbreakable, and he did it as a man who probably, he's averaged a triple double for what in the last probably like 6 years, last 5 out of the 6 years of his career of his career, he's averaged a triple double, which is insane. And doing it like he's not doing it with very small amount of rebounds. Like he's getting crazy boards, getting his team involved, helping his man Bradley Beal, who Bradley Beal is going for that scoring title. So the Wizards got players, man, and if the Wizards can do it against anyone, I think it's the Pacers. Pacers. I don't know, man. I just don't see anything that interests me. I like Sabonis, but I just not enough to get me to get a playoff win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that. Like, I want to pick the Pacers, but I can't deny like the way Russell's been balling. Pacers are a defensive team. Like, they got like Brogdon. Sabonis is a good defender. They got Miles Turner.
Mm-hmm.
They also got what's his name? Like TJ Warren. Like he's a pretty good perimeter defender. I think defense in the playoffs, like their defense could be good, but the issue is the offense. So like maybe next year, Karis LeVert will come into his form a little bit more and put up more points for them. This year, I mean, the way Russell Westbrook's on fire, not to mention Bradley Beal still averaging like 30 points a game. I have to go with the Wizards, dude. There's too much offense there.
I'm right there with you, man. It's way too much offense. I don't think the Pacers just have enough to deal with it. But they are, like you said, they are great. They are great defensively. So if they could stop Russell from having one of those turnovers. Crazy games. Yeah, man. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing about Russell, right? Russell's kind of like Brett Favre. People always said Brett Favre. He's going to throw you 3 picks, but you got to catch him. That's kind of the same with Russell Westbrook. He's going to be crazy in the lane. He's going to go uncontrolled. That's kind of been one of my biggest issues with him in his career is he just kind of plays a little too uncontrolled. Like he plays too hard. Really. And you never thought that you would say that about a player, but he's probably the only player I've ever said that about in my life. He just plays a little too hard. And needs to dial it back a little bit. And the playoffs, heart beating in the playoffs. So, and he doesn't have a great track record early in the playoffs, Russell. So you definitely can upset. Probably wouldn't be an upset, really. They're both kind of even. So the Pacers could, in the Wizards thing, but I'm gonna say Wizards here just because, like you said, the pure talent alone.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're in agreement. So then we would have Wizards and Celtics based on our picks. And I didn't think that would be a sexy matchup, but it kind of is with Jaylen Brown out now.
Mm-hmm. It makes it a lot harder to pick this series. But the thing about the NBA, is a lot of times the team with the best players will win. But I guess it's a little harder with the 1-game format,
Yeah.
It is a little harder, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick the best player in the series or in the game, and that's Jason Tatum. So I'll go with the Celtics. I think Brad Stevens is able to pull one last win before they, probably get swept in the first round.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Brad Stevens, but I definitely think he's better than Scotty Brooks.
Yeah.
So I think strategy-wise, Brad Stevens will be able to have a defensive game plan that will at least neutralize Russell. I think Bradley will still be able to put up his points, but ultimately I got to stick with the Celtics as well.
Hell yeah. All right, so we basically got the same Eastern side bracket. Western side's a little different, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the Western side. The 1 versus the 8 seed. So mine would be Jazz versus Grizzlies. I'll talk about that first.
Okay.
Obviously, I like John Morant a lot. I like Jaren Jackson Jr. a lot. But the Jazz have just had some crazy, I just had like some crazy energy and have just been playing a way that I didn't expect them to this year. You might think that Shaq might have lit a fire underneath Donovan Mitchell this past year. So I don't see the Grizzlies. They maybe take one, but the Jazz are just too much to handle for these young Grizzly players. Maybe the Grizzlies can, compete next year and try and get one of those middle seeds, so they don't have to do a play-in game. But having that play already 2 games beforehand against a healthy Jazz team, it's just not enough for me to. It's not good enough for me. So I'm gonna go Jazz probably in 5.
Okay. Yeah, man. When it comes to the Jazz, I mean, honestly, the Jazz and the Suns, I keep looking at one of them as who's having the fluke here. But I do think the Jazz are the best team. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's the reason I like the Jazz is because of their story. Because last year they were one of the best teams, but this year they made sure they were the best team in the West. They made sure they got that 1 seed. They handled business. Mm-hmm. I mean, defensively, they're just they're amazing to watch, dude. Gobert, he gets dunked on, but he gets more blocks and contested shots than he gets dunked on from time to time.
Yeah.
And also, dude, Donovan Mitchell's I feel like last playoffs, he really fucking balled out. And he didn't take it for granted, but he still came up short. And I know he has that fire inside of him. So, when it comes to a matchup of, Jazz and Warriors, I think Curry's gonna light up Conley a couple games. Mm-hmm. But I'm actually thinking kind of similar to you. I see the Jazz winning in 5. I just think they're a completely better defensive team, and I don't really see Curry getting much help. I know Draymond's going to be neutralized by Gobert, and there's some interesting guys on Golden State, for their future, but nobody better than the perimeter defense from Jordan Clarkson and my guy Joe Ingles. So Jazz all the way in that one.
It probably doesn't mean anything, but so far the Jazz and the Warriors are playing. They're about to enter the half, and the Warriors are up by 5 points, 54-49. So
Steph, bro. Steph likes to prove people wrong, man. So
which reminds me, I might have to see how he's doing, because if he's balling, I also got him on my team, so it might help me. I'm in the playoffs too, so I'm trying to get some dubs. But let me see real quick. I'm gonna check just because I can.
We're on the topic.
Yeah, we're on the topic. He's only got me 19 points, but it's only the half. He could have a crazy second half.
Yeah.
We've seen him have crazy quarters or crazy 5 minutes where he just shoots the lights out. So there's that. But Tatum didn't. The Celtics didn't play today. Valanciunas for Memphis actually got me 61 points and a win against the New Orleans Pelicans. So, but the Spurs also got a win, so they both kind of stay locked head to head. Whereas the Pacers beat the Cavs and the Hawks beat the Wizards by 1 point.
Okay.
So I think now instead of the Wizards being the 9 and the Pacers being the 10, now the Pacers will be the 9 seed and the Wizards will be the 10. So there's that little difference. Not much of a difference, but it's a little bit of a difference. All right, 1 seed on the Eastern side. Sixers against our unanimous Wizards. Oh no, sorry, Celtics.
Celtics, yeah.
Yeah. Sixers versus Celtics. This is where I know you're not a Brad Stevens fan, but you got to take into account the underdog thing for Brad Stevens. He loves it. It's his thing.
Yeah.
What he's known for. He can't do
and
anything.
The rivalry with the Philly and Boston. Gotta like it.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Sixers in 6.
Nice.
Embiid is just too good, man. He's having a hell of a season. If he could have just stayed healthy for a little bit long, for a few more games, he would have been probably not a unanimous MVP, but very close to it. Because of just how good he's playing. He's taken this team to a new level that I didn't think they were capable of, because I've never really been a Philly fan. I've not really been the biggest Ben Simmons fan, the biggest Embiid fan, but these guys have pulled it together, figured out the formula. I think Doc Rivers is a huge reason for that too. So I'm going to go Sixers in 6.
Yeah, man. No, you nailed it. Watching the Sixers in the past, it's been awkward, man, and people have loved them for years, and I couldn't get behind it, because it was Embiid down in the post, and then Simmons, all he could really do was like drive and dude, it was just too stagnant of an offense for me. But like they got Tobias in there.
Mhm.
Dude, Tobias gets a lot of jumpers. He converts a lot of jumpers for them, which is kind of like that gel that I think they needed. They got Al Horford out and kind of got younger guys in there to like speed up their game a little bit.
Seth Curry too, right?
Yes, Seth Curry.
Yeah, that was a good pickup for them.
And they got what's his name, Danny Green, which love him or hate him, come playoff time, he is a veteran too. So who's been there and done that? So yeah, he'll be a great addition. I like what you said about Sixers and 6. I guess to be different, I'll say Sixers and 5 to be bold.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got them moving on.
Yeah, I'm kind of banking on Brad Stevens just kind of not going away.
Yeah,
keeping the team into it. But yeah, I could see either in 5 or 6. Not sure if there's gonna be a sweep, but definitely could be. But I would actually be kind of surprised if either series, Jazz Grizzlies or Jazz Warriors and Sixers, the 8th seed Celtics get swept. I just don't see it. All right, so we'll go ahead and go down to the 2 versus the 7th seed on both sides. So we would have the Suns and the Lakers, 7th seed. And dude, this is tough. Like, it depends. I have to see how LeBron looks in these next couple games.
Yeah,
I know he's scheduled to play tomorrow, but I can see him probably pulling out for that game and playing the game on Wednesday against the Rockets that he's scheduled to play in. So I would say I need to see that first. But so off of that, not seeing how he's doing and knowing the impact that Chris Paul has had on this team. I love Monty Williams, love Devin Booker. I'm gonna go Suns in 7. Suns in 7. I don't like what's his name? What's his name for the coach for the Lakers? I'm always blanking. Vogel. I don't like Vogel. I didn't like. He's basically what every single coach has been for LeBron. So this team goes as LeBron goes. I'm not expecting Vogel's not going to pull you out of any deep series situation. He's not going to be able to outcoach another coach and get you a win when you really need it. So this team kind of goes as LeBron goes. And if LeBron can't go on that ankle, I don't see it, man. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the harder picks, to be honest, in the whole bracket.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely depends on how LeBron looks coming back. I 100% agree with you there. I guess to put like another angle on it, I'll assume LeBron is healthy. And I think if LeBron is healthy, I can see the Suns winning the first 2 games. But I think I'm going to go Lakers 7.
Ooh, okay. First big.
I got to go for it, man. The only reason, man, is like this. Like I told you, the Suns and the Jazz. I'm worried about one of them not really playing the way they've been playing all season. The Suns have more inexperience. It's hard to pick against Chris Paul, but at the same time, like the AD and LeBron connection over Booker and DeAndre Ayton, I'm gonna just roll with it. But we'll see. I might change this in a week, but for the sake of being bold and different for now, we'll go ahead and go Lakers.
All right. I like it. I do. All right. So now we're gonna go to the Eastern side. The 2-seeded Nets taking on the 7-seeded Hornets. This was one I would like to say I believe in the Hornets a little more, but I don't. I think Nets in 5. It's just too much star power, especially if I think even without Harden, they're probably going to do it in 5. If they're able to get Harden good to go, it could be a sweep. That's probably my biggest sweep. Besides, probably my biggest sweep. Sweep watch would be Nets Hornets. It's just too much talent over there. Like it's kind of the same with the Lakers. They go as KD goes, but the difference is KD's not as injured as LeBron because I'm not expecting Steve Nash to outcoach anybody. But I also don't expect the Hornets to really push them in terms of coaching. So it's going to be based off of pure talent. LaMelo could possibly get to that level of talent one day. He's just not there yet. But this would be some incredible experience for him going forward. So really, I'm looking at it more as like a Hornets win. Just getting to that point would be a Hornets win.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think pretty much you hit the nail on the head right there. If Harden comes back, I mean, there's no way LaMelo and Terry can hang with Harden and Kyrie. I mean, those guys are just in another level. Yeah, I think I've seen the Nets dismantle teams with two of their stars out this year. Like, I've seen KD alone or Kyrie alone or Harden alone just basically beat the shit out of teams. Like, and I wonder, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, dude, I'm gonna go Nets there. I would root for Hornets to get a win, probably leaning more towards a sweep. But yeah, let's keep going.
All right, so let's go 3 seed. 3 versus the 6 seed. So on the Western side, we got the Clippers taking on the Trailblazers. This could possibly be another sweep watch. Not as high as the Nets and the Hornets, but definitely there. I would have probably Clippers in 5 because Dame can get you 1.
Yeah.
But in terms of talent, same thing, man. The Clippers are just too good, man. The Trailblazers, I don't see the talent there. Nurkic is someone that I'm really disappointed in. I thought he would kind of make that jump this year, and he just hasn't. He hasn't dominated the way you would like him to dominate, and it's just kind of disappointing.
Yeah, he kind of did regress like after his injury. It seems like so. It's a bummer, man. Like I like this matchup. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I think it's a sexier matchup because I think last week we had Clippers Mavericks or something like that. So I kind of like this Trailblazers Clippers matchup in the beginning. Like I would like to see Dame versus Kawhi. But yeah, I gotta go Clippers. I think in this one maybe I'll say like Clippers in 5 or 6. We'll say 5. But I got them moving on.
And real quick. Do you think this would be a put up or shut up year for Terry Stotts? You just think about the fact that he's been there for so long and he can't make the jump. Is he the problem?
Bro, like he seems like an awesome guy, man. But I think they should move on, man. Like Dame's given it plenty of time. He's been loyal to the organization, and I think as an organization, you got to be loyal back to him, and you got to say, "Hey, we're willing to change." Look at Toronto, man. Like. That was a weird one because like they had DeMar, but they had to try something, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel about the Blazers. Is like they have to take some sort of risk at some point. Maybe it's away from CJ McCollum, maybe it's away from Terry Stotts. But if I had to pick one of those, I definitely would want to try another coach and see what that can get them. Because, dude, to be honest, going into this year. I thought, along with a lot of people, that the Trailblazers were more stacked than this, and they were going to be a top 4 team.
Yeah, man. The addition of Christian Covington. I mean, yeah, right?
Yeah,
Robert Covington. Sorry, Robert Covington was going to be
I know what you meant. Yeah, dude, and Nurkic coming back, and CJ, and then even Gary Trent was balling. I know they traded him now for Powell, but yeah, man, it just seems like they have all the pieces on the floor, but they're not winning the way they should be. So yeah, I think I don't know if they'll move on from him, but I think they should. I'd like to see someone else there.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. Just kind of, it's just the thing I had to throw out there because they just seem to always be in this area. They're always in the 6th. They're always in the 6th, 7th seed. I know one year they were the high seed, but they got eliminated pretty quickly. So maybe it's time to get a new coach, and not only that, but include Dame in the hiring process. Like, let him know, like, what are you looking for? What do we need to do to get you to that next level? Because I think Dame could do it. Obviously, he can't do it by himself, but CJ McCollum should be as good of as a number 2 guy than anybody else. The Gary Trent Jr. thing was very interesting. To me, I know they went Powell, right? Nick Powell.
Norm Powell. Yeah.
Oh, Norm Powell. So I was like,
I mean, it kind of would have made sense to me if they were like a 3 or 4 seed, like trying to take that risk over the hump. But yeah, dude, I feel like you just traded away like because the thing about Dame and CJ and Trent is like they've all come up in that Portland system, and they're like very explosive, So I really would have liked to see like how far Trent would go. I know once he got traded to Toronto, he had like a 50-point game this year, So it's like, man, like I'm not exactly sure if they did the right thing with that trade, but regardless, like they have to make some changes. It wasn't all just on that trade.
Yeah, so I mean, we hope to see some. If they get beat, I think if they get swept, there's definitely got to be some changes in Portland, without a doubt. But Clippers, I say Clippers. They're not going to be as disappointing as last year. So we'll see if they can make it. Last week we had them win. We had them going all the way to the finals, winning against the Sixers. So we'll see how our things differ this time. Yeah. All right, next up, Bucks Heat. Probably the thing is I want to say Heat. I want to say sweep watch, but the Heat, dude, they surprised me so much last year. Yeah. The fact that they made it all the way to the finals was just crazy to me. Spoelstra is one of those guys that he's continually, even when he doesn't have a really great team, he continually has them in the mix. I want to actually see. I'm gonna check what their lowest pick has been since Spoelstra has been there, because I don't think it's been very low in terms of like draft picks. So while I'm doing that, you go ahead and give your thoughts on this series.
Yeah, man. First of all, the Heat gotta feel stupid for not trading for James Harden. I mean, bro, James Harden, Jimmy Butler, and Bam. I mean, you would have been easily one of the top 3 teams in the East. But instead, they stuck with their young core. I get it, maybe it's the Heat way, but they're kind of underwhelming compared to last year. Working with the same core, trying to make it happen. Spoelstra still kind of runs that 2-3 defense at times, and man, they kind of have a grind style about them, and I respect it. But in this series, I gotta say Bucks in 6. The Bucks are just playing way too good. I think Bam will give Giannis some trouble, but the Bucks are just a way more diverse team than they were before. Like now that they have Drew Holiday, so yeah, man, I'm gonna take the Bucks in 6. I still got love for the Heat. Don't get me wrong, but man, I feel like that Harden trade was something they had to make, and they didn't.
Yeah, I would have definitely taken them to that into that into that upper echelon of teams.
Yeah.
It's something where I'm thinking of like if the Sixers would have traded for him, they probably would have been the favorite to win the championship. But that's not here nor there now. So let me see. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the year that. All right, when did Spoelstra get hired? Spoelstra. Sorry, I really want to see this because Spoelstra. Because people take for granted Spoelstra, man. They don't appreciate him as much as they should, because he's one of the best coaches in the league. Every year, like year in and year out.
For sure, man. While you look, right before you bring that up, I'm gonna just do some guesses. I know the Heat had just got like Michael Beasley when he was like extra young. That was like a high pick.
That was his first career. I mean, that was his first year coaching, and I don't count that because that's different. So Michael Beasley was the second pick.
Okay, then my second guess would just be Winslow. Maybe he was the highest.
So we have Winslow's number 10. And obviously he didn't turn out, but think about that, number 10, not the great, not that's not horrible. It's not great either, but it's not horrible. That was their first one. But here's the thing. They at one point drafted Bojan Bogdanovic.
What?
And they traded him to New Jersey.
Damn.
So that is crazy. Yeah, right? Looking at other picks. Yeah, it's probably that's probably their. Yeah, because they picked Justice Winslow at 10 in that 2015 draft. And then the second lowest is Tyler Hero at 13 in 2019. And then Bam Adebayo at 14. So they've always kind of been in that area. They've always kind of been in that same area, but then he has crazy runs in the playoffs, taking him to the championship, or beaten whoever. So the Heat could probably. I'm gonna say Bucks because the Bucks are just really good. But we've seen the formula to beat Giannis in the playoffs. It's build a wall, build a wall, and see what Middleton can do. They got Drew Holiday this year. Let's see what he can do. It'll hurt. That'll hurt them in the later rounds, but at least in this round, I'm gonna lean Bucks. Even though it's crazy to say, I think the Heat probably have more talented players, but just haven't met their potential yet. But few years, give them a few years.
Man. I mean, also when the Heat lost, like Dragic and Bam were both injured, and that's something people kind of look over all the time. So, I'm not saying they would have beat the Lakers, but it would have been a different series for sure if they stayed healthy. So,
absolutely.
I think like it's really just the matchup thing here. Like I got to pick Bucks because they've just won more games and they've been able to execute more consistently than the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if it was Heat versus Knicks or Hawks, I probably would take the Heat, honestly. But since it's the Bucks, I got to roll with the Bucks.
Yeah, we go Bucks too. So another unanimous one. Let's go Western side. Fourth seed versus fifth seed. Nuggets Mavericks.
Yeah,
this is tough, man.
This is tough. This is basically superstar versus superstar at this point.
It's Luka versus Jokic, man. It's who can step up and take over. But you would think Luka would have the advantage because he also has Kristaps, but I don't know. They just haven't quite met their potential as a duo to me.
Agree, man. When Kristaps, when that trade happened, I was like, oh shit, Dallas is coming up.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, man, Kristaps has just been such a non-factor, like in big games. And I mean, it's Luka's team. Dude, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been a consistent baller for them. He kind of flies under the radar.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna lean Nuggets. They got the MVP. They got Jokic. I don't believe he'll be named MVP by this point, but to me, he's the clear-cut favorite to win MVP. They just have a better team. Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon has been a really good get for them. So I'm gonna go Nuggets in 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Nuggets in 7. It's gonna be a tough series, man.
Dude, I think you're right, man. I want to pick the Mavericks, like I really do, but like when I think about the lineup of the Nuggets, just so many big men. You know what I'm saying? Like Jokic, like you mentioned, Aaron Gordon, Porter Jr.
Imagine if Jamal Murray was healthy.
Fuck, dude. It would be a no-brainer, Nuggets. I guess, shit, dude. I guess since I'm on the theme of picking different, I'll say Mavs in 7. But not feeling super confident. I guess I'm not worried about it because I'm not picking them in the next round.
Dude, it's not a bad pick, man, because think about that 3 that Luka hit against the Clippers in overtime. Like, dude, I remember watching that and like legit, like I'm not a Mavs fan at all. I don't like the Mavs. The only Mavs player I really liked was Nowitzki. That's the only Mavs player I've ever liked. But dude, when he hit that 3, I legit like screamed like, "Whoa!" because it was just so insane. Like that is a clip in the playoffs that'll be played for years to come. I will be showing my son that clip eventually. Like it's just one that's gonna live in my head forever. So I know that Luka's capable of that. I do have to point out Luka's one technical away from getting suspended. Yeah. And that does carry over into the playoffs. Because I remember that one year when Draymond had it, and I think he had to miss a game against the Rockets because he got that other technical. And obviously didn't hurt them, but it could have. So that technical thing, the technical fouls thing does carry over into the playoffs. So that's something. If I'm Luka, I'm getting a technical next game or something.
Yeah,
knock it out right now because once you get that 16th one, you're out. And if you're heading the playoffs, especially like in a pivotal game, it could hurt your team.
Yeah, man, that's a good point. I want to give the Mavs props because I think when we first started doing this podcast, they were like the 9 seed.
Yeah, they were low.
And I think that's like what's driving me to pick them. But yeah, man, that's it. You know, just explaining my reasoning. But I'm ready for the next round or the next
All
matchup.
right. Next up, we got, and this is probably our closest one to date besides the Nuggets and the Mavericks, but I think this isn't even closer. Knicks and Hawks, man, 4th versus 5 seed, and this is what you love the 4th and 5th seed matchup for.
For sure,
it's for teams like this they're not quite there, but they're also not lower tier. They're not, but they haven't quite hit that upper echelon of teams. And Knicks versus Hawks, man, I can see this going every which way. I really do.
Yeah. I guess I could start this one off. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna lean Knicks. The reason is because I saw the Knicks play the Clippers this week, and fucking Julius Randle, bro, like he closed that game out.
Man, your guy.
Yeah, dude, and I was just so impressed, bro, because like my one thing about like the Knicks is like, well, like who's gonna take the ball in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
But dude, like they gravitated towards Julius Randle, and he was dueling with Kawhi, bro, and he fucking outdueled Kawhi. And you know how Kawhi can get, like when he's in the zone, he's just hitting threes and jump shots and shit. So
he can be MJ, bro, in the if he wants to.
Exactly. And yeah, man, for the Knicks to pull that out and like D Rose and Taj Gibson, it was good feelings all around, man. And Tom Thibodeau, like he's got them playing way better defense. I'm gonna say Knicks in 7 though. Like I still believe it's a toss-up series, just like the West. So, yeah. But I'll take Knicks.
Yeah, man. First, I need to tell you, man, because I listen to First Things First every day. You need to call up your boy Nick Wright and tell him to put some respect on Julius Randle's name, because he was talking mad trash about him last week, and I was like, dude, Paul's gonna be pissed because he was just talking about like, oh, it's a nice story, but he's an average player at best, and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, you are out of your damn mind. Like this dude is balling. Like he's gonna be most improved player without a doubt. He's earned it. He's earned what he's gotten. Has worked hard for it. So I love to see this. I'm gonna go with you, man. I'm gonna go Knicks in 7, but this will be really good for the Hawks too, though, man. Like the Hawks are a young team. Obviously, Clint Capella's has had the experience, but at the same time, like when he was playing with us deep in the playoffs, there were times we couldn't play him because he just didn't match up well against the Warriors. Like he didn't match up well against the Warriors because they were playing Draymond, and we didn't, and he couldn't keep up with Draymond because Draymond was just so smaller. And I think it's similar here with at points Clint might be unplayable against the Knicks because unless Clint Capella's gotten better at covering smaller guys, Julius Randle's gonna ball out on him, or even maybe Taj Gibson. I know Taj Gibson isn't as sprightly as he used to be, but at the same time he's got a much different game where Clint will have to go out there and get him. So I'm gonna go Knicks in 7, but great learning experience for Trey and for Clint with this.
Yeah. And this is one of those matchups, like, I'm going to have it circled personally and try and watch those games because it's not every year you get to watch Knicks Hawks, like, in the playoffs, So, yeah, that's what excites me about this is, like, both of them are kind of like up-and-coming teams, and I would have never expected either of them, to be honest, to be right here.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and go into the semifinals. Semifinals?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, semifinals. No. So, yeah, semifinals, then you have the conference
semifinals.
Finals. So semifinals, we would have Jazz taking on the Nuggets. Well, I have Nuggets, you have Mavs. So I'll go Jazz Nuggets. I think unless I see like another, I have to see another gear like for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Like I need to see him put up a little bit better numbers. Not that he's bad, but he is one-dimensional. He's very defensive minded, but I kind of want to see him get involved in the offense. I'm gonna go Nuggets, man.
I like it.
Just the play of Jokic, man. Like Jokic has been so good this year, and also, man, he's getting like crazy disrespect from like the national media talking about he's gonna be the worst MVP winner of all time, which is insane to me, man. Like, how can you like talk trash on this guy who's balling out, been consistent, been so good this year? To me, he's become a star this year, and for some reason, it's still getting talked down on. And I have to take into the players, man. Like, you have MPJ, and you have Aaron Gordon, who are playing really well for this team against Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and Joe Ingles. Like, it's just not there for me for the Jazz. I like Donovan Mitchell a lot, but I'm gonna go Nuggets in this one, upsetting the Jazz and ending their playoff run early.
I like that take, man. I like it a whole lot. Like, can you imagine if we had Jamal Murray versus Donovan Mitchell again? Oh my God, that would be fucking insane.
It'd be amazing. If only. Damn it, Jamal Murray.
Bro. Damn it, yeah. You're ruining our fucking bracket. Yeah. I like that, man. You're definitely right. The Nuggets would be a way better matchup against the Jazz and the Mavericks. Since I picked Mavericks, I think the Jazz could beat them easily. I'd probably say Jazz in 6 for
All
that
right.
one.
All right, I like it. All right, we'll go to the other side. The Sixers taking on the Knicks for both of us. I like the Knicks, man. I like them a lot, but the fairy tale ending. I mean, the fairy tale season ends here. Joel Embiid is he's too. I mean, just kind of reiterate everything I said in the last one. He's just too damn good. And who can take Ben Simmons and not only stop him, but also be able to handle him on the offensive end.
Right.
We're not. You can't look at Ben Simmons and think, "Oh, who's going to stop Ben Simmons on offense?" No, like, can you get past him on offense when you're playing offense? Like when he's playing on you, can you get around him? Can you neutralize him? And I don't think there's anybody on the Knicks team. D Rose is nice, RJ Barrett's nice, but not quite there at that talent level yet to be able to push Ben Simmons. So this might be a series where Ben Simmons might be like a turning point for me. So I'm gonna go Sixers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sixers too. I think the Knicks making it to this round will be a consolation prize, like sort of how we mentioned earlier about
Absolutely.
the Hornets. But yeah, man, like you're right. Also, RJ Barrett is like a nice up and comer, but he's going to be facing veterans in this series, right? So he'll be seeing Danny Green's and Seth Curry's playing defense on him. I'm not sure how great he'll do, to be honest. I think Julius Randle will be more neutralized, obviously, with Joel Embiid in the paint. He's definitely a step up from Clint Capella. Yeah, man. I mean, this could, to be honest, like it could almost be a sweep if I think about it. But I'll say it'll be a gentleman's sweep, and I'll take Sixers and 5 over the Knicks.
No, I'm with you on that. I'd probably take gentleman's sweep, but yeah, a sweep could also be on the horizon for that series. All right, next up we have. Did I lose you? Okay, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, next up we have the long-awaited series that we wanted last year, didn't get it, and that's Clippers Lakers.
Yeah.
Where are you at, man?
I'm gonna go Clippers in this one, mainly because the Lakers have just been inconsistent and injury riddled and shit like that. I never feel confident about teams who go in like that. A lot of times, like with the Rockets, we kind of had seasons like that. Like Harden was always healthy, but for one reason or another, somebody got hurt. Or I'm a big believer in like momentum when it's in the playoffs, and I just don't think the Lakers are gonna have that all the way through. So I'm gonna take the Clippers this time. I think the Clippers have rebuilt. You also got Ty Lue, who used to coach LeBron, so he might have some nuggets about what LeBron's thinking and shit on the court. Plus, I like the matchup better defensively. Like I like the Clippers defensively against the Lakers is what I'm trying to say. So that's why I'm leaning Clippers. I definitely think it'll be like 7 games though, but I got Clippers getting the edge.
Okay, so I think I was wrong, man. I think I picked Suns last time in the
you did.
So I would have Suns Clippers.
Suns Clippers. And that's a way different series too.
That
Way
is,
different
man.
dynamic.
It is. And it comes down to me, if they can get DeAndre Ayton involved in the offense, who's going to stop DeAndre Ayton on the Clippers? Like, I don't see very much stopping him. You Serge Ibaka? No.
Yeah, I mean that's your best shot, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like he's not gonna stop him.
Man.
I
I
mean-
want to say Suns so bad. I want to. But
I mean,
it's Kawhi.
It's Kawhi, yeah.
It's Kawhi. To me, it's Kawhi. Can Paul George, get out of his head in the deep moments? Damn it! I really want to say the Suns, and I might get attacked for it, but I'm gonna go the Suns. I'm gonna say Suns over
respect it.
Clippers.
I
Suns over
respect it,
Clippers. Monty Williams mixed in with Chris Paul. Devin Booker is Chris. Don't forget, man. Devin Booker can go off for like 60. He's done it a few times in his career. So,
yeah, bro. And I mean, who's gonna guard him? Like, I don't think Kawhi will guard him. Like, maybe Paul George will get some time on him. Like, but I feel better about that. Like, if Kawhi is guarding him, I feel less confident about him putting up that. But also CP over Rondo, like. I know they have history, but dude, CP will ball him the fuck up.
Yeah, I think this will be a 7-game series, though. This is going to be one of those 7-game series where it'll be close, it'll be tough.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Suns. And just to be a little bit different. All right, Eastern side, Nets, Bucks. I'm gonna go. I like the Nets, obviously. I like the Bucks. It'll all come down to if Harden's playing. Now, because Harden's out indefinitely and doesn't seem to have a timeline for his return, I'm going to go off the assumption he's not going to be healthy. And because of that, I'm going to go Bucks. Giannis, the mix of Giannis, Middleton, and Jrue Holiday, having great games. And really, all you got to do to me, neutralize one of the two. Neutralize KD or Kyrie, and with Kyrie, it's a little bit easier to do.
Yeah.
And Giannis is one of those guys that can cover all 5 positions too.
Yeah.
So if you have to put Kyrie on, I mean, obviously, Giannis is gonna want KD, but like say late game situations, why wouldn't you put Giannis on Kyrie? And just make it where like, okay, fine, KD has to do it, but I'm gonna go Giannis close. Budenholzer kind of playing with an extra kick in his step, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Bucks. Steve Nash is safe. Let's be that. Steve Nash is safe. It's not, and there's no problem, no chance of him getting fired this year.
Yeah.
Budenholzer does. So I'm gonna go Budenholzer. Bucks beat the Nets in 7.
I'm gonna lean with you, man. Like I'm thinking Bucks for sure. Harden's recovery will have a big part in this, but the reason I'm picking the Bucks is because the Nets have had terrible interior defense all year long. DeAndre Jordan's like he's improved over the season, but it's not enough for me to think he can stop Giannis all of a sudden. So I'm leaning towards Bucks, dude. I'm with you. I'll probably go Bucks in 7 just because I'll respect the Nets' talent. But for right now, they just seem like the more consistent team and safe pick.
All right. So we're going to our conference finals now. And we have different conference finals. We have different conference finals. We have the same Nuggets. Obviously, Nuggets will be there. I have the Suns. Nuggets, Suns.
And I have Jazz, Clippers.
Jazz, Clippers. Okay, so Nuggets, Suns. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with the most experienced player, the more experienced coach, probably the better coach in my opinion, and I'm gonna go the Suns. Suns in 7 or 6. Paul, I think Chris Paul has a lot to prove. People are always saying he's a star, not a superstar. He hasn't been to a championship yet. And this is the year that CP3 finally shuts them up, and shows why he took this Suns team, who was a play-in last year, or they didn't even make the play-in. Did they make the play-in?
No, they won those, like, all those games in the bubble, but they
missed it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, taking a team that was just on the precipice of making the playoffs all the way to the 2 seed is enough for me to think that they could pull it off. They haven't shied away from big-time games. They've taken teams in like that they know they're going to play in the playoffs. They've taken them and they've beaten them handedly. So I'm going to go the Suns in this series. 7 games, maybe 6, probably 7. Suns, Chris Paul putting the team on his back and saying, no, I'm doing it. That's what I got.
Cool, man. Yeah, man. Like, I'm kind of hating my conference finals right now. Clippers and Jazz. Something just doesn't feel right about it. But fuck it. I just went matchup by matchup. That's where I'm at. So when I think Clippers and Jazz, I mean,
I understand.
I really just think like Kawhi and Donovan Mitchell. Both of these teams are pretty decent defensively.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm still just leaning towards Kawhi because I can't see Kawhi like getting to the conference finals and blowing it against the Jazz. You know, that just doesn't seem like a possibility for me. I think Donovan Mitchell will ball out, but I gotta lean Clippers here. Since I'm kind of undecided about it, I'll go ahead and say 7 games. But I'll have the Clippers moving on.
Okay, so I got Suns, you got Clips on the western side. Let's go ahead and go to the eastern side. You got the Sixers for the versus the Bucks for both of us.
Yeah.
I know I just said Budenholzer's got like an extra little kick to everything, but I am going to go Sixers in this series. It's just crazy what Doc Rivers has done for this team. He's kind of it's funny because everyone was saying, "Oh, the Sixers aren't going to get far if Ben Simmons can't hit shots, can't shoot." And a part of me thinks Doc Rivers might have said, "Dude, stop worrying about what they're saying. Like, focus on your game. This is who you are. Do it. Like, go out there, facilitate the offense, and play mad defense." Because you got to think, like, the fact that he doesn't have to put – I mean, obviously he's putting effort in on offense, but he doesn't have to put as much effort because he's not creating shots. He's not creating his own shots. So he's able to put a little bit of that extra effort onto the defensive end. And seeing, like, the fact that you can put Ben Simmons on Giannis possibly and just kind of let him do his thing. And meanwhile you have Giannis – I mean, you have Embiid – holding you down at the rim. Yeah. I'm going to go Sixers in the series, probably in 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Sixers too. Like last week, I was feeling a lot of love for the Bucks, but I think I came back down to reality, and I agree with a lot of what you said when it comes down to coaching. Like, we know that Doc Rivers knows how to coach superstars, and a lot of people, the only championship he won was with the big 3 of the Celtics, but this Sixers team is stacked, dude. And you got Embiid, you got Tobias, you got Ben Simmons, not to mention like crazy veterans on your bench. I think the Sixers will be able to put up that wall against Giannis in this series. Drew Holiday hasn't proven it in this type of atmosphere, so I'm not putting any stock into him balling out. I'll take the Sixers. I'll take them in 6.
Okay.
And I got them. Going into the finals on my side against the Clippers.
All right, so my finals: Suns, Sixers. Very interesting. Two coaches that have been in the league for an extremely long amount of time, but only one really having success, whereas another one is seen as a very, very good coach, but just hasn't had the team around him. He finally has that this year. I'm talking about Monty Williams.
Right.
He finally has that this year. CP3 finally gets to an NBA Finals. but it just happens to be against this juggernaut that we know as the Philadelphia Sixers. Like, we've been saying it, round after round. This team is stacked. This team has so much talent everywhere, it seems like. And Doc Rivers has somehow pulled this team together. Because like you, I was one of those people that said, why is national media keep picking the Sixers? I don't get it. I don't see it. And all of a sudden this year, I'm just like, what the hell happened? Like, it's like they were missing a coach. And they finally got it. I'm going to say Sixers, a very close series. I'm going to say Sixers in 6 again.
Yeah, man, that was very well put about the coach. I think that was a great take. I'm gonna lead in Sixers as well against the Clippers.
Against his old team. Oh no.
Yeah, man. Well, primarily the reason I'm taking it is just because I know Kawhi got the juice, but I don't know about the rest of the guys around him when it comes to that championship level. Doc, I like how he's changed the team. And I also know that when Embiid lost on that last-second shot to Toronto, he was gutted, dude. He was heartbroken. He wanted to win. And since then, they've only gotten better. And to be honest, like, that Raptors team was a lot better than this Clippers team, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. So I just think, like, what it comes down to is the Sixers are firing on all cylinders this time. And even if they were to meet someone as great as Kawhi in the finals, I think they just have too much talent, better coaching. Ty Lue is a student of Doc Rivers, right? So there's no way I can pick them over the Sixers. I would have the Sixers probably winning in 6 games. The NBA.
All right. So different roads.
Way different. Yeah.
But we have the same result. Sixers. Who would have thought? If you would have went back like 3 years ago and told past me, hey, in 3 years you're gonna be picking the Sixers to win the championship, I would have punched future me in the face. Like, I would have been like, you're out of your damn mind. You don't know what you're talking about. I would never. But man, like, seeing what Doc Rivers has done with this team is so great to see, and it shows how things can really change in an off season, like what they can do.
That's true.
And I really do think, like, me shouting, "Oh, Ben Simmons has to get a shot. Ben Simmons has to get a shot." That everyone basically saying, like, Philadelphia is never going to get there. I legit want to know: did Doc Rivers tell him, shut them up, don't listen to them, play your game? This is what got you. Because you think about it, like, we've shit on Ben Simmons so much. I've shit on Ben Simmons so much, but before he got here, man, like, to the NBA, he didn't have a shot. Like, we knew this about Ben Simmons. We knew this is who Ben Simmons was, and has still been able to maintain the level of play that he's been able to do without his shot. The fact that he could literally not take a shot, but and no one would even challenges him at the line anymore. I mean, at like outside of the paint. Like, if he's not inside the paint, they don't bother, because what's the point? But he still finds ways to get it done, to get Joel Embiid involved in the offense. And guys like Tobias Harris have really been helping too. Seth Curry. So I think the second Curry, I think the other Curry gets his title finally. And just, keep working at your stuff, guys. If you don't have a shot, who cares, right?
Yeah, man. And I think that was well said. I want to also give some props to Daryl Morey. When Daryl Morey quit, I remember him saying, he quit, and then about a couple of weeks later, he took the Sixers job. And then when they asked him why he did that, because he was saying he was going to stay out because of his kids, he just mentioned something about, like, it was too great of an opportunity to turn down. And at the time, I didn't see it, but he was probably seeing what we see now, right? And he saw how much talent and potential was there. Doc Rivers was there. Elton Brand stayed on. He just stayed as the GM. Daryl Morey actually got promoted to president.
Yeah.
So, man, like, he saw this. He saw the greatness in this roster. He made some tweaks, obviously, and he got some veteran guys there, some 3-point shooting to put around Ben and Joel Embiid. And man, it's impressive. Like, they're a complete team. Talent wise, there might be some better teams, but there's no reason to pick against a great coach, GM, president, all aligned with the talented roster, and that's why I think the Sixers will probably end up winning.
All right, there you go, guys. Our pick to win the NBA Finals. It might change next week. Who knows?
Yeah, it was different last week.
Yeah, I think we had Clippers last year over the Sixers, but I mean, we had the same. You still had Clippers and Sixers, but it takes a week to really like look at what they're doing and kind of just like convince yourself like this Sixers team is legit. They are legit. Yeah. They are here to stay, and it's good to see. Honestly, this is great for the NBA. I think that seeing the stars that we're seeing come up, it's kind of crazy because we've mentioned it like in text message that we've never really the last generation of NBA players like the Hardens, the Kawhis, like and all that. They just never quite made the leap. Obviously, Kawhi did, but James Harden hadn't. Russell Westbrook never made that leap, so they didn't pass up LeBron. You know, KD obviously did, but he didn't pass up LeBron, but he hasn't like taken the mantle because of that. He's been hit by the injuries. But now we're seeing like the Donovan Mitchells, the Devin Bookers, the Joel Embiids, and the Nikola Jokic's that were like they're starting to take that next step and prove like okay, that old guard is is on its way out. And the injury to LeBron is kind of the same. It's kind of showing that too. That new generation, that like not even our generation of NBA player, because our generation is probably LeBron, this most recent generation, which is like LeBron, KD, Harden. We were just on the tail end of Kobe, I think. We were in the middle of Kobe, so like our generation's done. I think this new generation of NBA players is going to start taking over, and we're going to start seeing guys like Donovan Mitchell, Joel Embiid, like kind of become the faces of the league, and it's fun to see. I love the changing of the guard. I think the changing of the guard is good for basketball, for any sport. We've seen it most recently with football, like the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Patrick Mahomes, and now we're seeing it in basketball, and it's so much fun to see.
Well said, brother. Well, I can't wait till next one. We'll see how this end of the season kind of plays out. We definitely need to do like a pre-playoff episode in case this bracket changes drastically.
Yeah, man.
Man.
We should probably I have to see when the final game of the season is, because then we can take into the actual bracket. It might not be any different from what we're looking at, but it could also possibly be very different. Yeah. The Lakers are not locked into that 7th seed yet. They are not locked in, so they could possibly get out of it and play and have a series against the Clippers first round. Who knows? Yeah. But we'll see. So if the season ends and the bracket is any different, we can talk about having a pop-up episode or something. So,
for sure.
But until then, let's go ahead and get the hell out of here. I am your host, Alec Miller. I'm here with my man, Paul, hosting with me. This has been awesome to do. I can't believe we're already in the NBA Finals. I'm excited. So please make sure you find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423 to talk all things sports, comic book movies, and movies in general. And also check out my show, the ANS Podcast, Wednesday night, 9:00. We'll be talking about the most recent UFC fight and previewing the upcoming UFC pay-per-view, which is Chandler versus Oliveira. But if you haven't, because we're going to be talking about Waterson versus Marina Rodriguez, please just go look at that fight, man. 2 amazing women putting on a hell of a main event. Very action-packed and a fun main event. So if you haven't, it's free on ESPN Plus. Check it out, man. It's awesome. But go ahead and let them know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, man. PL Trinidad on Instagram. Like Alex said, man, listen to those podcasts, man. You'll be surprised what you learn. I mean, even talking with Alec here, I learned a lot. Just about sports, and I'm watching the same thing as him every day, but I'm still learning. So, hey, support your local podcast, man. I do music for local podcasts, so if you know any local podcasts who need music, hit them with my name. But yeah, man, catch me on the IG at PL Trinidad. I'll be chilling till then, watching the Rockets tank and hoping we get Cade Cunningham.
Let's go, Cade. All right, guys, we're out. Peace out, guys.
Deuce.